Call to order this meeting of the Camarillo City Council. May we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Kilby,
Here.
Councilmember Martinez Bravo,
Here.
Councilmember Tennyson,
Here.
Vice Mayor Tremblay, and Mayor Santangelo.
The purpose for us opening at this hour is to go into closed session. I'll have the city attorney read items for closed session.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. We have one item listed on the agenda. It's conference with legal counsel, exposure to litigation, subject to Government Code Section 54956.9D2, and there's one matter. And if there's any reportable action, I will make that at the end of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, we'll recess into closed session. Now it's on.
I'd like to call to order the Camarillo Sanitary District regular meeting for September 13th. And a roll call, please.
Director Santangelo,
Here.
Director Tennyson,
Here.
Director Tremblay, Secretary Martinez Bravo,
Here.
and Chair Kilby.
Yes, here. All right, we'll do the flag salute. I'm going to ask the mayor if she'd lead us in the flag salute.
Please stand, hand over heart, ready, begin.
Thank you. So next is the approval of the agenda, and we'll get down to general public comments for the Sand District. Anybody from the public like to make any comments on the Sand District? Seeing no one come forward, we'll get down to the consent calendar.
I'll move approval for this consent calendar.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. Hearing no further discussion, please vote. And that passes unanimously. Discussion items, we don't have any tonight. We do not have any public hearings. Do we have any board or staff comments or reports at this particular time? So we don't. So with that, we're adjourned.
I will reconvene this meeting of the Camarillo City Council. Let the record reflect that all council members are present. Are there any changes to the agenda? Seeing none, I'll move on to presentations. We have two presentations tonight, and the first one is the California State University Channel Islands Scholarship recipients, and I believe we have Eva Gomez.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much. Mayor Santangelo, Vice Mayor Tony Tremblay, City Council members David Tennyson, Kevin Kildy, and Martita Martinez Bravo, City Manager Greg Ramirez, and Assistant City Manager Carmen Nichols. My name is Eva Gomez, and I'm the Director of Annual Giving and Special Gifts at Cal State Channel Islands. It wasn't too long ago that I stood here before you and gave you an update, and it is again my pleasure to be here today on behalf of our President, Richard Yao, to give you an update and to present to you the City of Camarillo Endowed Scholarship recipients for the 2023-2024 academic year. But before I introduce them, I'd like to tell you again that really we are so blessed to have the wonderful relationship that we have with the City of Camarillo, and we really are the envy within the CSU. Not everybody has this particular relationship with their home city, and I can honestly say that we are truly blessed to have that, and you'll get to hear why in just a minute from the students. But since 2007, your named scholarship has supported 61 students, each with scholarships ranging from $1,000, $1,250, and this year $1,500 each, for a grand total of $75,000 in the hands of Camarillo resident students attending Cal State Channel Islands. That is just amazing. And again, we want to say thank you to each and every one of you for supporting that, for having a vision to say we need to start this endowment, because you'll get to hear from the students tonight that are here receiving your scholarship. So tonight we have 2 of the 6 students with us, and they would like to personally thank each and every one of you for your continued support of their educational endeavors. We have Ashley Fisher and Samuel Perry. The other students wanted to be here, but unfortunately, they either had class or they had to work. But they do send their heartfelt thank yous, and really just wanted to thank each and every one of you. So thank you for your time tonight, and thank you for letting our students be here to share a little bit about themselves. And with that, we'll start with Ashley.
Hello, my name is Ashley Fisher. I am a sophomore at Cal State Channel Islands, and I just wanted to start off and say thank you to the council members and the City of Camarillo staff for recognizing me for the scholarship. As a lifelong Camarillo resident and a third-generation Ventura County resident, I take pride in my community. This scholarship will help me further my college career at Channel Islands University with the ultimate goal of becoming a high school English teacher here in Camarillo. It's an honor to call Camarillo my home, and once again, thank you for the Camarillo Endowed Scholarship and the opportunity it is giving me.
Good evening, council members, Madam Mayor. My name is Samuel Perry. I am a third year at Cal State Channel Islands. I am a computer science, music, and creative writing major. And $1,500, as you all well know, is not a small amount. It has been very helpful to me continuing my endeavors. I will most likely end up as a special education high school teacher, as my father has, and I intend to use every dollar you've granted me through this scholarship well. Thank you.
And those are just 2 of your 6 students. We thank you so much, and if you have any questions, if not, we would like to ask if it's okay if we may take a picture with you with the students. Thank you so much.
I have a question.
Sure.
I'm sorry, how much was the scholarship, how much money did the scholarship for this year be? I think I missed that.
Yes, absolutely. Every student received $1,500.
This year?
Yes, this year.
And last year it was
1,300.
300, okay.
So the endowment is doing good.
Good. That's good. That's good news.
It is. Thank you. Thank you so much. Any other questions?
No questions, just comment. Congratulations. Keep it up. Keep up the good work. And I'm really looking forward to reading the notes that were in here as well.
Perfect. And you'll find the thank you notes from all the students in there as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations again to both of you. Okay, that will move us on to our second presentation, which is the Community Emergency Response Team presentation by Heidi Zart. Did I say that? Did I pronounce your name right?
Correct.
Good.
Oh, great. Let me check this. Is this going to work? Where do I point this? Over here. It's
Is it
not
not advancing?
working. Oh, it did. It goes slow. Okay. Good evening, Honorable Mayor, council members and staff, and all the visitors this evening. I'm Heidi Zart. I'm the City of Camarillo's emergency.
Would you pull the mic a little closer?
Closer? Okay. I'm Heidi Zart, City of Camarillo's Emergency Management Administrative Specialist. And tonight I have a presentation to tell you more about Community Emergency Response Team. And so I have a short slideshow to prepare, or to share. The Community Emergency Response Team is a national program that teaches people to prepare for hazards that may affect their community. And in Ventura County, the fire department sponsors CERT training through a grant provided through Homeland Security, which makes this training free to the community. It's a very valuable training. In Camarillo, CERT classes began in 2004, and over the years, approximately 1,000 community members have gone through this training with Ventura County Fire Department. Some of the skills and training that we receive in CERT, in Community Emergency Response Team, we learn to identify safety hazards and how to mitigate them. We learn about preparing emergency supplies that may be needed if we're at home and need emergency supplies. We learn disaster first aid with basic life-saving skills. We learn how to set up a medical treatment area, and in the photo you can see people working with a fire extinguisher, and they learn cribbing and lifting to rescue a victim from under a heavy fallen object. So in these photos, if you can see, they're pretty small, but the top left, here's a woman working with a team. They're preparing to lift a heavy cement slab up so that if there were a victim underneath, they could remove the victim safely. That takes teamwork and really attention to safety. And in the middle, as I mentioned, there's the fire, working with a fire extinguisher, and down below there's a team of people who are assisting an injured victim. The injured victim is a she's role-playing. She's not really injured. And let's see, supporting our community. As many of you may have noticed in the past, you've seen CERT volunteers at emergency expos hosting a table to talk with the public and share information. You may have seen our mass casualty unit trailer, which has first aid supplies that are available around the county for emergency response. And the lower photo shows people taking an inventory and updating supplies in that trailer. And then some other things that we've done during the Thomas and Woolsey fires, it was important to support the Red Cross to set up shelters and provide masks to the public when we were handing out masks that were for smoke inhalation, or just for safety for the public. During the pandemic, we had the opportunity to support food distribution when so many people were needing food. We staffed, this top photo, we staffed a food distribution event. That one's at Freedom Park. And CERT is also able to host a community cooling center, and as you know, our city's designated cooling center is at the Camarillo Library. However, if other cooling centers were needed, we could use the community room at the police department, and also PD could set up a cooling center at the community center. Recently, in the past 2 years, we've had 4th of July, we've had CERT volunteers assist during 4th of July fireworks events with traffic. And let me see. CERT partnerships, the Ventura County Fire Department is our main sponsor, so they provide the education. And CERT works with many other local agencies involved in preparedness and response for emergencies. So as you can see here, we have Camarillo Disaster Assistance Response Team. They're known as DART. They run, their team is coordinated with the Camarillo Police Department. We have assisted the Red Cross, Auxiliary Communication Service. Those are the ham radio folks. And then Ventura County Animal Service, Ventura County Human Services Agency, and California Listos for All. Okay, so our goals for the future of CERT are to increase participation of the community and expand continued education and training for emergency preparedness and safety skills. Some ways we can achieve this are to promote community education, especially by working with California Listos for All, which has the focus on reaching all parts of the community with many languages. And we want to increase CERT volunteer opportunities to find ways to, after CERT training, we like to keep the CERT members involved in the community, having meetings and time to attend future trainings. We want to continue collaboration with partner agencies who are working in the preparedness and safety fields in our community. And we would like to increase the number of people who receive the Camarillo CERT newsletter, which is it's preparedness news for the community, and it provides resources and information to the community. And this leads me to my next slide, excuse me, which I'd like to share that the Camarillo City Scene TV has a short video that shows what CERT training is like. This video was taken during the April CERT team training final, and it's on the city's YouTube channel. You can find it by looking for the title, "Have You Heard About Camarillo CERT Emergency Preparedness Training?" It's really fun to see that, the people working to practice all their skills. And then also our city Camarillo CERT newsletter. You can sign up for CERT newsletters on the city's Notify Me webpage, and there's the URL right there. And thank you very much for the time to present this information, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much for your presentation. We appreciate it. Do we have questions? Mr. Hildy?
Yeah, thanks for the update, Heidi. So how many applications and how many people can take the course at any particularly given time?
That's a good question. There are 2 courses available during each year. We coordinate with the fire department, who are the instructors. We can usually hold a class with up to 30 people in each class. So potentially we could have 60 people in a year. Most likely we'll get a class with about 20 to 25 people. And actually right now, on Monday night, we started a class, and I had 21 people enrolled, and I may have a couple more people join that class. So there's a class underway.
Is there any criteria other than the fact you basically just want to do this? Is that pretty much the criteria?
That is the criteria. Adults 18 and up can participate. It's this is a free training, and you can take this training whether or not you want to become a part of a team. So this is information that can prepare anyone to have their home and family safer by understanding to have your family communications plan and understanding how to prepare your house to be safer from earthquakes and so on. But to be a part of a team, that's one of the goals that we're looking forward to. When there's a volunteer opportunity, we invite people to participate, and the people who respond to the opportunity are given assignments according to their abilities.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, thank you so much for your presentation, and more than anything, thank you for all of the hours that you and our volunteers put into this program. I feel very proud to have this program in our community, and I'm very thankful for what you do. One of the questions that I had was answered. It was around the age limitation, so people have to be 18 to apply, you mentioned?
Yes.
Okay.
It is possible for students 15 through 17 to attend with a parent.
Okay.
Yeah, and in some cities around the county, there are high school programs that are, CERT is part of the curriculum in high school, so it is possible to expand this to a younger age group.
Okay, yeah, that was my follow-up in terms of within your programming, if you have any opportunities for children to get involved or, reaching out to, the younger youth.
I think it's a wonderful idea, and it's not developed yet. And there may be ways to just, if it's not a full-blown program, but expand the education into classrooms and things for age-appropriate
Sure.
Information for students.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, and thank you for helping out with 4th of July. I didn't know you were a part of that, and it was a great event, so thank you for that help.
That's great. Yeah. Thank you.
Do you have any other comments or questions? think that's it. Thank you so much once again for your presentation. Okay, that's going to bring us down to council and staff comments and reports. I'm going to start with Mr. Kildy.
Okay, so meetings attended August 28th, the Economic Development Land Use Committee. I was a little bit late. Thank you, Mayor, for being there on time. Also on September 7th, I attended a VRSD meeting. And let's see, the other meetings, I went to a few other, I think that's all I have tonight. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Tremblay.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Let's see, meetings attended on August 24, a breakfast sponsored by the Ventura County Taxpayers Association relative to the sales tax and the impact of Amazon on local receipt of sales taxes by cities. On September 7, the Utilities Committee and Wastewater Treatment Plant Options with Councilmember Martinez Bravo. We spent several hours, and thank you to staff for that. On September 8th, the Ventura County Transportation Commission. On September 9th, the Pleasant Valley Recreation and Park District Foundation had its Party for the Parks dinner, and together with the mayor, we attended that. It was a good evening. On last weekend, still on? Am I still on? Yeah, I'm still on. On September, they haven't cut my mic yet. On September 10th, at the Camarillo Ranch, there was the Celebrate the Rancho Camarillo workers. And I just want to do a shout out. I think David Schlangen was here earlier, but I want to do a shout out to the foundation board, to the docents, and to all the volunteers. The mayor was there, Councilmember Martinez Bravo was there, and a shout out to all the families, the descendants of the Rancho Camarillo workers. But there is also an exhibit at the ranch house in their honor, providing further information that will run until December 30 of this year. So I wanted to call it to your attention. On September 11th, our Rotary Club had its annual golf tournament on behalf benefiting Casa Pacifica and honoring first responders. Over the course of it was the 30th annual, and over the course of 30 years, we've raised about $1.5 million for Casa Pacifica. On that same day, I had a Metrolink fuel committee, ad hoc fuel committee meeting. I know that sounds exciting, but it is actually an interesting topic, given how much renewable diesel Metrolink and trains use. Today, we had a presentation at our Rotary Club, and Commander Tennyson was there as well. And we're going to hear from Jason Havelka and Lisette Torres and Lisette Garcia. It was an outstanding presentation on Project Hope and our efforts relative to the homeless, and all three of you are outstanding professionals. I'm very proud of you. I think I simply refer to you as the A-team, and I mean that with sincerity. You do your job in an exemplary way, so I'm really proud of the efforts that you make. And that's it for me.
Dr. Martinez Bravo.
Thank you, Mayor. On August 31, I attended Ms. Charlotte Craven's Hail and Farewell event, and I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank our former mayor and former council member Charlotte Craven for hosting this event every year, I think for 30 years or so. So it was a great event, welcoming the new folks on council and staff and saying goodbye to or farewell to those who have left. September 6th, I attended a tour of the Diversity Collective in Ventura. They're an organization who helps the LGBTQ plus community. September 6th, I also attended a Camarillo Airport meeting with Camarillo residents who have had some concerns. The city manager was present along with our airport director, Keith Freitas. September 7th, I attended the Utilities Committee meeting with Councilmember Tremblay. Thank you, Tony, for that. September 7th, I attended and provided a public comment to the Board of Environmental Safety in Sacramento. It was to support the full cleanup of the Santa Susana Field Laboratory, and I was there in support with the parents against the SSFL, along with Dr. Levin, from the county. He's our County Ventura Health Officer or Medical Director. Just a little bit about that. All may be aware, but there was a partial nuclear meltdown in that area. And so there have been some clusters of cancer that have formed along with other medical conditions. And so Dr. Levin was there along with the parents to really help support the full cleanup of that site. And to learn more, you can go to the County of Ventura or to parentsagainstssfl.org. September 10th, I also attended the honoring Rancho Camarillo workers at the ranch house. And it was a very heartwarming event just to see, the community coming together, but many of the families who had been there. And knowing our history, I think, is just so important as it continues to impact us. September 11th, I attended the CSUCI Site Authority Financial Audit Exit Meeting. And just for September 11th, I just wanted to acknowledge the continuous trauma that was felt that day. And, my blessings and my heart and prayers go out to all of our community members who were impacted and continue to be so. And one thing that I think we all remember where we were that day. And more than anything, I think we remember, or I remember, how united we felt in this country, the United States of America. So may God continue to bless our country.
Mr. Tennyson.
Short and sweet, on September 7th, I attended the RDP 21 meeting, and that afternoon, the board meeting for the Association of Water Agencies of Ventura County.
All right, for myself, August 24th, I was at the Economic Development and Land Use Committee along with Mr. Kildee. On August 25th, I got to do the coin toss at the first Adolfo Camarillo High School home football game of the season. And Brian Kelly, who is one of the parent athletic booster volunteers, has helped arrange this, and he's asked me to share it with the entire council that they would like to make this an annual event. So whoever's next, you will be asked to help toss the coin. It was great, and Brian Kelly is a pilot, and so he was able to arrange a flyover too. So it was a lot of fun. On August 30th, I was at Tippecop at Finney's, which was the fundraiser for Special Olympics. There was a great turnout, and they raised a lot of money. On September 9th, I was also at the Boots and Barbecue Foundation for Pleasant Valley Rec and Park. And on September 10th, I was at honoring Rancho Camarillo workers at the Camarillo Ranch House, along with Mr. Tremblay and Dr. Martinez Bravo. And that's all I have. All right, that brings us down to the consent calendar, which are items D through O. Have a motion?
Second.
And a second?
And Madam Mayor, I will abstain from item D since I was absent at last council meeting.
Okay. All right, if there's not further discussion, please vote. That passes unanimously with Councilmember Tennyson abstaining from the minutes. Okay, that brings us down to our discussion item, which is item P, which is the Homeless Housing Assistance and Prevention Program grant funding for hotel voucher program. Lizette Torres, I believe, will be presenting.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. My name is Lizette Torres. I am a Senior Management Analyst in the City Manager's Office, and I'm here presenting with Deputy Jason Havelka of the Ventura County Sheriff's Office. We will provide you with an overview of the Camarillo Hotel Voucher Program. I will be providing a little bit of background, and Jason will walk us through the procedures and protocols of the program, some of the details. To start with a little bit of background, in September of 2022, the City of Camarillo signed on to the Ventura County Continuum of Care Alliance Memorandum of Understanding, agreeing to cooperate in strategizing solutions to address homelessness across the region, and the City Council authorized the City Manager to pursue various funding sources available at the state level through the Continuum of Care. One of those funding opportunities was the Homeless Housing Assistance and Prevention Program. We call it HAP for short. It's a block grant which supports regional coordination and expands or develops local capacity to address immediate homelessness challenges throughout the state. Entities eligible to receive this funding included large cities with a population of 300,000 or more, all California counties, and continuums of care. A fourth round of HAP funding was announced in January of this year through the county continuum of care, and $5.7 million was made available on a competitive basis through the COC to fund projects serving individuals and families experiencing literal homelessness or at risk of homelessness to move into safe, stable housing. In response to the request for proposals, city staff submitted an application in February, on February 9th of this year, to the County of Ventura requesting $881,000 in HAP4 funds to support the creation of the Camarillo Hotel Voucher Program. The Camarillo Hotel Voucher Program was designed to fill the existing gap of interim sheltering in Camarillo through temporary hotel stays and connections to critical supportive services. The program will secure hotel rooms at local hotels for qualifying homeless individuals and or families. On March 8th, the Ventura County Continuum of Care approved a recommendation for HAP4 grant funding to the city of Camarillo in the amount of $735,000 for our hotel voucher program. To support a successful transition into temporary and permanent housing, the voucher program will also offer participants a dedicated community services coordinator or case manager through the Ventura Healthcare Agency to assist them during their interim stay with things like transportation, linkages to social services, and other resources across the county. The case manager's role will facilitate the voucher program's implementation, working in collaboration with the Ventura County Sheriff's Office Project Hope, which Jason will tell us more about, the Ventura County Behavioral Health Agency's Rapid Integrated Support and Engagement Program, or RISE for short, and the City of Camarillo through a partnership that has been in existence since 2013. The hotel vouchers will be offered for 28-day cycles over a 24-month period. The budget for the program is based on the cost of 7 hotel vouchers per night over the 24-month period. However, there is flexibility to provide more or fewer vouchers dependent on the need or the capacity of the community services coordinator to manage the caseload, as well as how quickly participants can transition into permanent housing. Providing more vouchers will spend through the grant budget at a faster rate, but it is possible to house more than 7 individuals. The Homeless Housing Assistance Prevention Grant will be distributed on a reimbursement basis by the County of Ventura, and as a part of the fiscal year 2023-24 budget adoption, the City Council allocated $735,000 to cover the initial cost of the hotel stays until the funding is reimbursed back to the city. Next, Deputy Jason Havelka will walk us through the details of the program and the implementation process.
Thank you, Lizette. I'm just going to give a little background on Project Hope. In 2013, Project Hope was created as a partnership between the Ventura County Sheriff's Office and the City of Camarillo to address a local homeless population. The goal of the program is to provide life-sustaining resources to clients to improve their current situation. In 2019, a mental health case manager from Behavioral Health/RISE was added to the team. This case manager works with Project Hope 40 hours a week and assists clients within the city with mental health issues. The primary purpose of this voucher program is to provide a short-term, safe, and stable living environment for the homeless individuals and families so they can begin their paths out of homelessness. This will be a tool for Project Hope to break the cycle of homelessness and give these people the chance that they need to improve their situation. The voucher program is going to focus on members of the homeless population who suffer from chronic homelessness and are vulnerable due to the type of homelessness that they're experiencing, their age, their mental health, and their physical illnesses. We're going to assess these individuals with the same vulnerability scale that the County of Ventura uses to assess their homelessness for the entry into similar programs. The vulnerability scale ranks the client in the following categories: physical health, mental health, substance use, risk and safety domain, and socialization and daily functioning. So how will the applicants, well, how they qualify for this program. The first qualification is the client needs to be homeless within the city of Camarillo for at least 6 months. The client is going to need to be willing to work with Project Hope to receive and accept help and services. Project Hope will be responsible for establishing the eligibility and the qualifications of each client. And Project Hope, in coordination with the City of Camarillo, will serve as the source of referrals for this program. For the selection and the intake, Project Hope will contact the clients and complete the vulnerability assessment that we just spoke about. If there are multiple applicants, a rank will be determined based on their vulnerability and their willingness to accept help. Once a client is selected, they will complete all the paperwork, including the client expectations and responsibilities. The client will then be presented with a copy of the paperwork and will be checked into the designated hotel for a period of 28 days. After the 28-day period, an assessment will be done by Project Hope and the case manager. And if the client is progressing, then we will extend the hotel stay. When entering the program, the clients will have the following responsibilities: to work with the case manager 2 to 3 times each week to participate with the provided services. The Project Hope deputy will perform room checks to assure the client is following all program rules. No panhandling. A 28-day maximum stay per room. Then the client will move to a different room if continuing within the program. No overnight guests. No unlawful activities. The client cannot receive mail at the location, and they must comply with all hotel rules. There will be the involuntary removal from the program if a client can be removed from the program for various reasons. The Project Hope deputy will conduct the room checks, and if the client fails these room checks, there will be either major or minor violations issued to the client, and it will be documented. The client can be dismissed from the program for these reasons. If the client violates rules of the hotel, they can be dismissed from the program for those reasons. And if a client is dismissed for one reason or another, then Project Hope will refer that client to other agencies where they can receive support and help. So a successful exit from the program will be the client participating, accepting the resources, and then moving on to permanent housing.
So to conclude, the recommendation to council this evening is to adopt a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute subsequent agreement number 2023-136. This is the agreement to receive the grant funds with the County of Ventura for the Camarillo Hotel Voucher Program, and to authorize the city manager to take all necessary actions on behalf of the city in furtherance of the Camarillo Hotel Voucher Program. This concludes our overview, and we thank the council for your time and welcome any questions.
Thank you both very much for your presentation. Do we have questions? Dr. Martinez-Bravo.
Thank you very much for your presentation, and thank you so much for everything that you do. I've seen you visibly around, even at our church, and I know you're doing the best that you can, and I really appreciate that. I do have a question in terms of, I'm trying to understand like the average rate, and thank you for explaining what success of the program meant. That really helped. So what would you say would be the average rate of the clients or people who come into the program and then are finally placed into more permanent housing, like the success rate of that?
The success rate is going to be based on each client's different. So, I mean, we have a client that, say, is a veteran. It might be easier and quicker to get that client into veteran services than it would be a client that would not be a veteran and those services aren't available to them. So the success rate really determines on how quickly we can address the needs of the client and link them the resources and then move them to a more permanent supportive housing for that client. So it's going to range from client to client. I mean, our goal would be to try to get them the resources as quickly as we can, but I mean, and these things do take time, so. Does that answer your question?
Thank you, yes. And as a follow-up, what would you say have been the most difficult challenges in doing this work?
Would you like to go? Okay. I would say the most difficult challenge is to this program allows us to have a case manager, and allows us to have a case manager to actively work with the clients. So it's going to have someone that's going to be working with these clients, like we said, 2 to 3 times a week. So that's going to be checking in with the clients, making sure that the proper paperwork is filled out, that the clients are communicating. When you deal with the homeless population, sometimes that they don't have cell phones, they're not always in the same place, it's hard to find them. By being in this program, we're giving people a stable place to live, where we know we can find them each day, so we can communicate better with them, and then we can get the proper paperwork filled out, we can present their cases better, to hopefully progress them further on to permanent supportive housing.
And I would add that time is also a challenge, just the amount of time that it takes to build rapport with some of these clients who have experienced trauma, different types of trauma, and so they're very resistant to receiving services or to engaging with some of these, sort of government-based social service agencies. But Project Hope, I think one of its strengths is that the team is very persistent, and they don't give up on people. So sometimes it takes 2 conversations, sometimes it takes 40 conversations or years, but the team is very persistent, and so building that rapport and getting people to trust the team just takes a little bit of time. It doesn't always move as quickly as we'd like to.
Thank you so much.
Any other questions? Mr. Kildee?
I have a couple of questions. So the roughly $735,000 that we received, is it the 24 months that we have to spend all those funds?
No, the funds are provided over, the course of the 2 years, but they can be spent, within the first year. It's really dependent on how much participation we get and how many people we're able to place. So if we are able to place more people in hotels and issue more vouchers, the budget will expend much quicker. But we have up to 2 years to spend the total amount of money.
And then are you aware, do you have an idea how many hotels in Camarillo accept these vouchers?
So at this time, we do not have any MOUs or formal relationships established with hotels. With council's approval, we will move forward with this aspect of the program and begin to make contact and see who has interest in the program.
And I know the problem is expanding. I'm going to ask you to do a little crystal ball here. Does the future belie, is it leveling off? Are we still seeing significant increases, or is it a situation where you just don't know? There's so many factors that are involved in this particular situations.
I'm sorry, sir, so the question is, as far as homelessness, as far as is it on the
Yes.
rise? Are we seeing it on the rise? I would say that it really changes day to day. I mean, especially the fact that the location of the city of Camarillo, I mean, people are coming in and out of the city of Camarillo quite a bit. So, I mean, some days we'll have more homeless than others, and then sometimes people leave for a while, then they'll come back. So it definitely varies, So it's I know there is a homeless population in Camarillo that's been here quite a bit, and something like this program will work perfect to try to offer them finally that resource that they need to kind of break out of that cycle and get them into the hotel to get them stable. So, but as far as the level of homelessness, I mean, it's definitely, it changes from month to month.
And you're optimistic that this program will give us another option in a very, shall we say, difficult situation, because there's so many variables as to why and how an individual gets into this particular situation. But this will be opportunistic for all of us to try to add a resource that's sorely needed, and hopefully will be extremely successful. Is that a fair analysis of this?
Yes, it is. It's one of the struggles is when people want to get into shelter, that sometimes there's not shelter beds available. So this will give homeless in the city of Camarillo the opportunity to go into a hotel, some of which the first time they'll ever be put into a program like this, and give them the opportunity to succeed.
And a real strength of the program that I want to highlight is that intensive case management piece with all of those important wraparound services. We know that housing alone is not sufficient to solve the homelessness problem in our community. So those services are critical. And so this program would provide a dedicated case manager focused solely on Camarillo's homeless population, and the participants of the program, 2 to 3 visits per week, lots of connection, lots of hand-holding, which this population really can benefit from greatly. So that aspect that makes it really unique and potentially very successful.
Thank you.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I just want to ask a few questions to sketch us out a little bit more. And I was lucky today, having been at Rotary with the presentation on Project Hope. But the first thing actually is to go to Councilmember Martinez Bravo's question, and that is to Jason. The approaches to an individual are really variable depending on the issue, who they are, and depending on what issues they are encountering. So, for example, wouldn't it be fair to say if they were a veteran with specific types of issues as opposed to someone with a significant mental health issue, you have very different approaches that you take with them, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, I mean,
Could you just elaborate a little bit on
whenever
how that
Project
goes out?
Hope goes out and contacts someone, we're going to kind of assess that person and understand why they're homeless. You know, why are they homeless? And then ask follow-up questions to, are they a veteran? I mean, are they homeless due to domestic violence reasons? And based on the answers to those questions determines the road that we go down for resources. So each person, if they're taken into this hotel voucher program, the resource may be very different from one person to the next. So one person we may be bringing Gold Coast veterans to come talk to that person, and then if someone else is the victim of domestic violence, we may be going a totally different route. So it just really depends on the person, depends on why they're homeless, and we're going to figure that all out by the initial assessment. And a lot of times Project Hope has already talked to a lot of these individuals, and we kind of know who we're dealing with, and we're able to, just the fact that we're able to stabilize these people and get them someplace where we know where they are, and they know that they're safe and they have some place to live will just help that as well. So.
And it's, I think, isn't it also fair to say that there's a high degree of collaboration with other professionals in the field? So, for example, from a food standpoint, today we're talking about food share and EBT program, and from a shelter standpoint in terms of emergency shelter, Mercy House, and Union Rescue Mission. And there's a lot of collaboration that occurs between yourselves and the professionals in those entities, right?
Yeah, I mean, the case manager, their main job is going to be really to contact those resources, get them involved. If someone doesn't have any food, we're going to sign them up for EBT. We're going to let them know where the food shares are. We're going to try to get food delivered to them through various county programs. So it's really just each person, it depends on what their situation is, but we're going to do our best to try to analyze that situation and figure out how we can best help them. So.
Just trying to make sure that we sketch a picture, because this is a really a broad, a comprehensive approach. And there's also the one-stop program that occurs in Camarillo, where you have perhaps an individual who might not be accepting of other services, but they can go through this one-stop program, and a whole series of services are awaiting them.
The nice thing about this program as well is being in the hotel voucher program, we can actually assure that those people do get the one stop each week, check in at one stop, and then those service providers will be there to kind of assist them as well. So,
and then to go to Councilmember Kildee's question, to follow up on it, I mean, we have a point in time count each and every year, and I believe our point in time count for earlier this year was at homeless, and recognizing that it's just a snapshot on a particular day, I believe it was around 79 individuals. Is that about right?
that's correct, sir.
Okay. And my understanding is also that the homeless population in our city is somewhat different than in other geographic areas in terms of a large percentage of folks who are homeless perhaps being in RVs as opposed on the, is that right? I mean, sometimes people ask me, well, you know, what types of homeless folks are there in Camarillo? And I explain, well, I think our population is a little bit different than in some other areas.
I would say our population is more based on population will live in vehicles, in RVs, some people that are living in their vehicles actually work throughout the day and they go back to their vehicles at night and they live in their vehicle at night. So we don't, in Camarillo, there's not as many people living just straight on the street as there is living in vehicles and moving from place to place. So that's correct.
Okay. Well, I really, again, want to thank you very, very much. I referred to you as the A-team. I also want to make sure that I don't forget to mention Alonzo Ramirez, Mr. Ramirez, who worked on these issues for the city for a long period of time and still does. So I think you guys are the A-team. So thank you, Madam Mayor.
Are there other questions, comments? I I want to make a quick comment, and I just want to tell you how much I appreciate the work that you're doing. Alonso, the work you previously did it as well. And I think what is so important about this program is that we have this case manager to provide those wraparound services. Because Lizette, as you said, it's not enough to just provide a roof, but those services are so important. So that's what I think is so invaluable about this program. So thank you both for being here and for your presentation.
And with that,
Do you want to do it first? Go
yes,
ahead.
no.
Looks like you started.
I said, and with that, I would like to move recommendations 1 and 2.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Please vote. And that passes unanimously. Okay, we have reached the end of our agenda, but we have 10 minutes until public comment. So we're going to take a 10-minute break. We'll be back at 6 p.m. for public comment.
Early February, so she'll get a longer break in the school year. Yeah, there you go. She'll miss the last couple months. So when did you start your new job?
I started, it's my second week,
Oh, so you're brand new.
brand spanking new. I'm still in the, I just sit and watch everybody mode.
There you go. So did they orient you like you've never done?
That is for comments for items not on the agenda. And I have a public comment card from Jeff Walker. You know the rules, right? 3 minutes. Thank you.
I do. Thank you, Mayor Santangelo. I wanted to talk to the council about the results of the People for Bikes city ratings. People for Bikes city ratings measures the quality of a city's bike network. A bike network to them is a connected system of protected bike lanes, off-street paths, slow shared streets, and safe crossings that enable people to comfortably bike around a city. You know, they rated major cities in a region. Camarillo's rating is 16 out of 100. That's the worst rating in Ventura County. It's the worst rating in the entire Central Coast. For perspective, I know Vice Mayor Tremblay went to school at the #1 rated city in California, Davis. It has a 77. I believe Mr. Ramirez is, for the same reasons, familiar with the top-rated city on the Central Coast, San Luis Obispo. For those that say we're not a college town because it's so far away, a reminder that Old Town is closer to the university than parts of Camarillo Springs, Leisure Village, and about the eastern third of Mission Oaks. I think often quality of life in the city is viewed through the lens of cul-de-sac life. Quiet, master plan, gated neighborhoods with safe streets where kids can ride bikes. A neighborhood park is a pleasant walk away. Daily tasks can only be done by car. Living without cars is difficult. Then we have people living near the freeway downtown. Here, many tasks actually can get done without a car. Living without a car is some kind of financial necessity. I bike to work because of a choice. I have employees that bike to work because they have no car. Quality of life is a little different for them. So if we improve our city's bike rating, we improve a few things. The environment, right? No brainer. I'll remind you, the city has a goal to reduce single occupancy vehicle trips by 5% over 5 years. Improving our bike network will help us achieve that goal. Improves the economy. There are actually studies that show if you improve pedestrian and bike networks in downtowns, it gives people a reason to go out locally if they don't have to get in a car, and actually spurs restaurant retail visits midweek. Public health. Surgeon generals have been sounding the alarm for years, both parties. Dr. Margaret Hamburg, quote, "We need to make our communities more walkable, bikeable, and accessible to public transportation. We need to create parks and green spaces where people can get outside and be active." Dr. Jerome Adams, "The built environment has a profound impact on our health. The choices we make about how we design our communities can either promote health or lead to chronic disease." The people are the city, not cars. I think we need to improve our bike rating. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Mr. Walker. All right, would anybody else like to address the council? Seeing nobody else come forward, we're at the end of our agenda, and so we will adjourn for the evening. Oh, sorry. We have to, we're going back into closed session. I wish. So we'll be recessing back into closed session. Thank you.